Okay, now that we're in ChatGPT, I'm going to show you its deep research mode. Now within deep research mode, I want to do some investigation around ASC 606 revenue accounting. So I'm going to ask the model to summarize ASC 606 considerations. And let's assume right now I work for a software company, so I want to consider usage-based SaaS pricing. And I want it to include common pitfalls and audit scrutiny areas, especially as there's room for interpretation here when it comes to the standard and practical expedience, that sort of thing. Notice, by the way, that this prompt is not following the rules framework that we saw in chapter 4, and that's really just for illustrative purposes right now in terms of how you can leverage the research functionality when you are executing these use cases for yourself. I still highly recommend using the rules framework that we've explored. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and run this prompt, and what we should see is that before executing the research, that it's going to pause and ask us some questions for clarification, because performing the research is actually very resource intensive. So it honestly takes a lot of time. So before the model runs, it just wants to clarify a few things. So here it says, to make sure I cover the most relevant aspects, could you clarify whether you're looking for ASC 606 guidance from a RevRec standpoint, or whether you also want information on disclosures, contract modifications, etc. And at the beginning we said we really wanted to focus on revenue recognition. So I'm just going to respond with that. Revenue recognition standpoint. That should be enough now for it to start performing the research, and that's what we're seeing here. Now, what I'm going to do is actually pause the recording, because I expect the model to take somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes to perform this research. It's really going to vary based upon the topic, but when we return, I'm going to show you how the model performed this research, the different references and resources that are available to you when performing this research in the deep research mode. So I'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Now you can see here that ChatGPT actually logs its activity as it's performing the research. And if you scroll to the very bottom, you can see that the research was performed in around 8 minutes. It felt longer than that, I won't lie, but as I predicted, around 5 to 10 minutes to perform that research. And it's really going to depend on the type of research that you're asking the model to perform. And we can also see that it referenced 17 separate sources that we can access here. So that's what I love about the deep research functionality. It's not only going to provide us with an answer, which it has here on the left-hand side, but it's going to cite specific resources and provide those sources to you so that you can reference them yourself to perform that analysis before you actually lean on the answer that you're getting from the model. We can see here we have a pretty in-depth analysis. We're not going to review this right now, but what I love is just the citations throughout, giving us confidence that this answer speaks from sources of authority. But don't forget, we still need to perform that validation ourselves. We cannot just rely upon the research and the words that it uses verbatim. So what I'd like you to do is try this out for yourself. And what I want you to do is review the answer that you get from the research model and validate 2 or 3 claims made by ChatGPT using the sources that it provides. And check, was it accurate? And if so, how accurate was it? Did it still make some mistakes or misinterpret things? And then come to your own conclusion as to whether you can rely upon the research model or not. What we're going to be able to do here is expedite our research activities. We own the validation. Now, before we move on to our next use case, I do want to call out that if you're currently using the free tier of ChatGPT or any other language model, you're likely going to be limited in the number of deep research tasks that you can perform for any given month. And again, that's because it's very resource intensive. So within ChatGPT, you're able to run 5 deep research tasks per month if you're on the free tier. That increases up to 25 per month if you're on the standard paid tier, and even more if you're on their pro tier.